Cut 3. Hello, Manny Mulyanida here, greeting and welcoming you to our video presentation today. The title is When God Makes the Day. There are 24 hours a day. Now, when is the starting point? Does the 24 hours start at midnight to reckon the day? Or what time? You know, during New Year's Day, the people usually flock at Times Square in order to watch the square ball drop at 12 o'clock. And that is a celebration of the new year. But let us compare the reckoning of day in the Bible. According to what we know is that there are 365 days in 1 year. That is when the earth revolves around the sun for 365 days. And there are 30 days in 1 month. That is when the moon revolves around the earth for 30 days. But what about the week? How many days are there in 1 week? If you ask the evolutionists, if you ask the atheists, they would say there are 12 or there are 7 days in 1 week. 7 days in 1 week. Now ask them, where do you get the information that there are only 7 days in 1 week? They find it hard to answer. Why? Because it is only the Bible that tells that there are 7 days in 1 week. Unfortunately, the atheists and the evolutionists do not believe the Bible account. So if they don't believe the Bible, they should have come up with 9 days in 1 week or 11 days in 1 week. But no, they stick to 7 days in 1 week. And I think this is the fact that they agree, the Bible account. The Bible records that the first day of the week we have here, for instance, in Genesis 1, 1 to 5, how the day started. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, in reckoning the day, according to the Bible, the day must have the evening and the morning. And that was first day. And then if we continue the reckoning of the day, we have day 1, God created the heavens, the outer space, and the earth. He also created day and night by separating the light from the day. And we learned that there was evening and morning, and that was day 1. Day 2, God created the sky and the atmosphere that surrounds the earth. So the evening and the morning were the second day. Day 3, God created the dry land. Now the earth was divided between dry land and the water. On this day, God also created plants, big ones and small ones. verse 9 and 13. So the evening and the morning were the third day. Every day had really the evening and the morning. Day 4, God created the stars, sun and moon. The sun gives light during the day, and the moon reflects the light or the sun at night. That is found in verse 14 to 19 of Genesis chapter 1. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Day 5, it says, God created all the fish and other water creatures. He also made birds and bugs that fly. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Day 6, Genesis 1, 20 to 23, it says, God created all the animals that live on dry land. He also created the first man as a special creation. He told the man that he is supposed to care for God's creation. When God's creation was complete, he announced that it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now what about day 7? I would like to read here Genesis chapter 2, 1 to 3, and it says, Thus the heavens and the earth and all the host of them were finished, and on the seventh day God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God created and made. Now there were 3 things that God did on the seventh day that he did not do in other days. What were these 3 things? And God rested on the seventh day. He blessed the seventh day and he sanctified it. If there are 7 envelopes, one of them up to the 6th has $1 each. $1 for envelope number 1, $1 for envelope number 2, $1 for envelope number 3, $1 for 4, $1 for 5th envelope, and the 6th envelope. But the 7th envelope had a watch, had $100, and a ballpoint pen. If you are made to choose, which one would you choose among the 7? I suppose you would choose envelope number 7 because it has $100, it has the watch, and it has the ballpoint pen. The same in the 7th day, God did 3 things that he did not do in other days. One was he rested, he blessed, and he sanctified. By the way, the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, you cannot find any text that God blessed other days except the 7th day. How important is God's blessing? I remember the story in the Bible about Jacob, who fled from his brother Esau. And one night he was wrestling with a heavenly intelligence. It was already towards dawn. Early in the morning, when Jacob noticed that he was wrestling with God, he said, I will not release you unless you bless me. You see how important God's blessing is. And God blessed only the 7th day. That's the reason why God, in order for man to remember His creation. As memorial of creation, He included the seventh day that He called Sabbath in the Ten Commandments. Here, Exodus 20, verses 8 to 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. This is the fourth commandment in the Ten Commandments. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, why is it that Satan is against the Sabbath? Why is it that Satan attacks the Sabbath? The answer is an issue of worship. Because God wants to be worshipped. And if we have to read Matthew chapter 4 verses 8 to 10, it says here, again the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdom of the world and their glory. And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. So the devil wants Jesus to worship him. Then Jesus said to him, away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve. So the one who is worthy of worship is the Creator. God is the Creator of heaven and earth, and he should be worshipped, not Satan. But Satan wanted to be worshipped. He asked Jesus to bow and then worship him. The one that is worthy of worship is the Creator of heaven and earth. Satan has not created. That is letting a thing exist out of nothing. Satan had not created even an egg, even a chicken. Then he wanted Jesus to worship him. So, Satan wanted man to not keep the Sabbath. Why? Because in the Sabbath commandment, in fourth commandment, it says here, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. Verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. So God is the Creator. At the moment a person keeps the Sabbath, the seventh day of the week, he acknowledges God as the Creator. So no chance for him to worship Satan, because Satan is not the Creator. So in order to divert the attention of people, he wanted them to forget about the Sabbath. He doesn't like the fourth commandment in the Ten Commandments. This is the reason why Satan attacks the fourth commandment, the Sabbath commandment. Now we know that in the reckoning of the day, there is evening and morning. So the day starts, the Sabbath starts at sunset, evening. It starts at evening. There is one text in the Bible that I would like to share with you in Leviticus 23:32, it says here, "It shall be to you a Sabbath of solemn rest, and you shall afflict your souls. On the 9th day of the month at evening, from sunset to sunset, you shall celebrate your Sabbath." So it is not midnight. No. The beginning of the day shall be sunset, according to the Bible. There is evening and morning. The first day, second day, there is evening and morning. So it is sunset to sunset, 24-hour literal hours in one day. Not midnight. It is from sundown. Now, this is the reason why if you go to Israel, we have the Jews there. Jesus was a Jew. And you notice that at sunset, their business is closed. At sunset. Why? Because to them, it is a Sabbath day. So, it is wrong, based on the Bible, that the day starts at midnight. It must be from evening to another evening, from sunset to sunset. In Mark 2:27, it says, "The Sabbath was made for man." Who made the Sabbath? It was God, and made for man. Man cannot make a Sabbath. Why? It is only God who can bless a day. I mentioned to you that there are 3 elements in making the Sabbath. That the Sabbath has to be rested, it has to be blessed, and it has to be sanctified. Unfortunately, man cannot bless a day. It's only God. So if there is a person who would say, "My Sabbath is Friday," that is the 6th day of the week, well, that is his Sabbath. But that is not God's Sabbath. Because God said, "Hallow my Sabbath." And the Sabbath of God is the 7th day, and the 7th day is Saturday. Okay. Now let's go to the naming of days. The naming of days. The naming of days is derived from the heavenly bodies. For instance, Sunday is the day of the sun, sun's day. So we have the heavenly bodies, the sun, the moon, then Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. So in Latin, Sunday is called Dies Solis. Monday is called Dies Lunae. Martes is called Dies Martis. Miércoles is called Dies Mercurii. Jueves is called Dies Jovis. Viernes is called Dies Veneris. And Saturday is called Dies Saturni. Now to make it plain and simple, let us put it this way. Because the naming of the days is after the names of the heavenly bodies. So, the day of the sun, sun's day, is Sunday. The day of the moon is moon's day, Monday. Martes is Mars' day. Miércoles is Mercury's day. Jueves is Jupiter's day. Viernes is Venus' day. And Saturday is Saturn's day. Now when God said, "You keep the Sabbath holy," it is not the name of the day, but it is because it is the 7th day of the week. The 7th day of the week. Have time and days been lost from Adam up to now? Now, I came across a certain article written by H.M.S. Richard, the speaker of the Voice of Prophecy, and he has this article, "From Eden to Abraham, Adam to Methuselah is 243 years. Methuselah to Shem is 100 years. Shem to Abraham is 150 years. No chance to forget the facts of creation and institution of the Sabbath. Sabbath not lost in Egypt. In fact, before the giving of the Ten Commandments to Moses, the Sabbath was already observed by the Israelites. We have here in Exodus 16:4 and 5 about the instruction, because the Israelites were clamoring. They were asking God to give them food. God tried to rain manna. And that manna, the instruction was, every person has to gather only one omer. Sunday, Monday, another one omer. But on Friday, one person has to pick 2 omers. One for Friday and the other one on Saturday, on Sabbath day. Because the moment they pick 2 omers, in other days, Thursday or Wednesday, this manna will get spoiled. But the miracle is, if it is picked on the 6th day, 2 omers, then it is not spoiled. Why? Because God did a miracle. Now what about during the Promised Land? The Sabbath was still observed during the Promised Land. The Sabbath was not lost during 70 years of captivity in Babylon. And in Nehemiah 13:15, I would like to read this verse. Nehemiah 13:15, about the observance of the Sabbath. In those days, I saw people in Judah treading wine presses on the Sabbath and bringing in sheaves and loading donkeys with wine, grapes, fig, and all kinds of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on Sabbath day. And I warned them about the day on which they were selling provisions. Men of Tyre dwelt there also, who brought in fish and all kinds of goods and sold them on the Sabbath to the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said to them, what evil thing is this that you do, by which you profane the Sabbath day? So, during Sabbath, it was prohibited to buy and sell. But there were people selling. They profaned the Sabbath. That's why Nehemiah said, you are doing an evil thing. You are doing an evil thing. The Sabbath was not lost even during the day of Christ. In fact, Christ found the people of Israel keeping the Sabbath very strictly. In Luke 23:54, the mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and the other women prepared the spices on Friday, and on the following day they rested according to the commandments. Paul in 1 Corinthians 18:1, 4, and 11. Paul was in Corinth. He was there for 1.5 years, and every Sabbath he was in the synagogue. How many Sabbaths are there in 1 year? 52. Because there are 52 weeks in 1 year, plus half year. Meaning Paul kept the Sabbath. He went to the synagogue every Sabbath for 78 times, 1.5 years. Our present calendar existed 40 years before Christ. And this calendar was the one used during Christ's days. Now, the question is, were some time and days lost? It says here, the most surreal part of implanting the new calendar came in October 1582, when 10 days were dropped from the calendar to bring the Vernox from March 11 back to March 21. The church had chosen October 1582 to avoid skipping any major Christian festivals. So in countries that adopted the new calendar, the Feast of Assisi on October 4, 1582 was directly followed by October 15. France made this transition separately in December, and the source of this is Google, and the title is 10 Days That Vanished, the switch to the Gregorian calendar. So they found out that, according to further passage, when it comes to calendar, small errors can add up over time. The Julian calendar, the prevalent calendar in the Christian world for the first millennium and part of the second millennium, was an improvement over the Roman Republican calendar that it replaced, but it was 11 minutes and 14 seconds longer than the tropical year, the time it takes the sun to return to the same position as seen from the earth. The result was that calendar drifted about 1 day for every 314 years. So these people are very meticulous in reckoning the days. They noted even 11 minutes and 14 seconds. Just imagine. So it was found out that in 1582, there was a short of 10 days. So in order to cover up the said shortage, they computed it this way. They started on October 1, 1582. October 2, October 3, October 4, then they jumped to October 15 in order to cover up the 10 days short. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 15. But it does not affect the day, the number of days in the week, and the days in the week. It did not affect. So, because of this, we can be sure that the day in Eden when God created is the same day now. The seventh day in creation is the same seventh day that we observe today. So, if we are in doubt as to the validity and the truthfulness of this computation, that the seventh day, the Sabbath day of the Lord, you can visit Israel, because Israel, the Jewish people, are very meticulous when it comes to keeping the Sabbath. Go there. You will notice that at sunset, they close their stores, because that is Sabbath to them. No buying and selling. It is the Sabbath. They rested on the seventh day. Jesus rested on the seventh day. Now enough for today, friends. I hope this gives us enlightenment as to the naming of the days, the number of hours in the day, and what time is the counting of the day. It is not at midnight that it is from, but it is from sunset to sunset. The law of the Lord said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you do all your work, but the seventh day, that is Saturday, is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it you shall not work. Why? Because for in 6 days, God created the heaven and the earth, and He rested on the seventh day. He blessed the seventh day, and He sanctified it. Have a nice day with God's blessings. Again, this is your friend, Manny Mulyaneda.